Hey, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com, and in this video we are going to do a what's in my big fat wallet. We're going to look at the cards that I am using now, talk about some of the cards that I'm not using now and why I'm not using them now, all that good stuff. But first I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. And if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So we do this every so often, and it's probably been about 4 or 5 months since I last did a what's in my wallet, and some things have changed. I believe back then I was still kind of working on some bonuses, and some new cards have come on the market, one in particular which I have gotten in that time frame, which has definitely gotten into the rotation. So we are going to take a look at what is in here. So as I make this video, I'm in the fortunate place of being able to get 5% cash back on all of what I would consider the major everyday categories. So the first card that has been coming out of my wallet, both for one particular 5% category and everything else that has been sort of secondary because I've been trying to meet the sign-up bonus, is the City Custom Cash card. So I have been using this card, which gives you 5% cash back in the category where you spend the most each month. I have been using restaurants as my 5% category, and I think I'm going to carry that forward, but I'm not quite sure. I might switch over to gas with this card as my 5% category. But the first time I used it, I went to a restaurant and I already was starting to think about I need to spend $750 to get to the $200 sign-up bonus, so I just used the card and said, all right, restaurants is what we're going with. So that is what I'm doing at the moment, and that's, you know, maybe something that I will stick with. So 5% from the City Custom Cash card on restaurants. Now that next everyday category, as far as I'm concerned, is groceries, and right now I'm using the Chase Freedom Flex and getting 5% back on my grocery store purchases. Chase Freedom Flex gives you 5% back in rotating categories each calendar quarter. Right now in third quarter of 2021, it is groceries and select streaming services. I'm using it exclusively on groceries. Now I do have the American Express Blue Cash Preferred card, which I've talked very highly about in the past, and it does give 6% on grocery store purchases, but there is a $6,000 cap, and this is a card that my wife and I share, and we hit that $6,000 cap every year. And so when I can get 5% on groceries somewhere else, then I go away from the Blue Cash Preferred during that period so that I can be sure that I'm going to, max out that 6%, but hopefully get 5% on groceries anytime that we are not using the 6%. And then the Blue Cash Preferred still has 6% on streaming services and some other good stuff as well. Now I've talked very highly about the Blue Cash Preferred in the past. With some of the new cards that have come on the market, it may not be quite as good of a deal as it seemed at the time because of the fact that you can get so much, and grocery stores seems to be a place where a lot of cards are ramping up in terms of giving 5%, or at least more than they used to on grocery store purchases. So Blue Cash Preferred is still a very good card, but it has that $95 annual fee, and so you have to decide if it works for you. But right now, Chase Freedom Flex getting the grocery store purchases at 5%. Now I've held the Amazon Rewards Visa for a long time, but usually I only use it on Amazon purchases where I get 5% back as an Amazon Prime customer. However, I got a recent offer of 5% on gas purchases when I used the Amazon card, so it's actually physically in my wallet. I don't actually carry around this big fat wallet with me, but anyway, it's physically in the wallet because I'm getting 5% on gas through August 15th. Now the thing that is interesting to me about this is the fact that this was a targeted offer, and I had seen that other people were getting this offer, and I felt like, I missed out, I'm not going to get it. And then I got it, not specific to me exactly, but I got it through a Facebook ad, which I thought was pretty interesting. In fact, I was so, skeptical of it at first that I went and sort of cut and pasted the URL that was with the Facebook ad, went on the desktop, and then checked to make sure it actually was Chase, because I'd never been sort of targeted for a credit card offer like that before. But it was legitimate, and I did use it, and I did check to make sure I got the 5% on gas, and I did. So I went through that Facebook, and Facebook knows everything about you, and all these other social media companies, they're all colluding now to know every single thing about everything that we do. So anyway, it was a somewhat targeted offer, not targeted necessarily to me, I would guess, but anybody that sort of fit the profile for that Facebook ad. So that is how I got the 5% through August 15th. After August 15th, I'll probably use the Verizon Visa for most of my gas purchases, until at least the fourth quarter comes and see if anybody's giving 5% on gas from those rotating cards. But anyway, this one gives 4% on gas, but the rewards you get are mostly tied to Verizon. So if you're a Verizon customer, which I am, well then that is very good. If you're not a Verizon customer, well then obviously it would not make sense for you. Now the Discover It card is getting a little play in my wallet, and it could be getting more play because it is giving 5% back on restaurant purchases right now in the third quarter of 2021, and I already said I'm using the Citi Custom Cash card for that, and that is perhaps a questionable decision, except I wanted to meet that sign-up bonus, which is why I have been doing that. But anyway, this is giving 5% back on restaurants, also 5% back at PayPal, and I've been trying to use PayPal more often when I make online purchases. I often sort of forget or don't think to use it, but right now they're giving 5%. I've had other reasons to use it with American Express and stuff, so I'm retraining my mind a little bit to use it. So this is actually a really nice offer for third quarter, even though I'm not totally maxing it out or taking advantage of it the way I normally would. And then a card that floats around my wallet and is still getting some usage is the Wells Fargo Propel American Express card, a card that is no longer offered to new card holders. What I'm using this for mostly is for 3% on travel purchases. A lot of the travel I do, and the reason I'm using this on travel purchases maybe more than I would a travel card, and I do have some, is the fact that most of the travel I do has been with my family, and it has been road trips, and we did a VRBO/Airbnb on our last trip, and I put it all on this, getting that 3% back on the whole VRBO, which was super expensive, more than I should have spent, but it was a long time since we'd had any fun. So anyway, this was a good opportunity to use this card, but one thing that did happen, which was very annoying, was after I took that big trip and put that big expense on the card, Wells Fargo only gave me 1 point per dollar on it, so I had to call Wells Fargo and, not plead my case, but I did have to say, hey, you made a mistake, and home stays was very, clearly one of the categories where you get the 3X on this card, and that was part of the reason I got the card, because I knew that we would use those things more often than we actually use hotels. And so they did make it right, but it did have to go through a thing where I had to open a case and then someone had to look at it and blah, 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 even though I'm pretty sure right on the, line item, it said VRBO or HomeAway or whatever the company is that owns VRBO. So, if you say it's homestays, that's one of the major places where people rent from. Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, those are like the big ones, right? So you'd think they would know that without having to open a case and check it all out, but they did. But they made it right, and I got the 3 points per dollar, and so this card is still one that is there for me to use on travel, and I use it more than I would the other travel cards that I have. And then everything else goes on the trusty Citi Double Cash card, where I get 2% on all purchases made with the card. Now, there are a lot of other 2% cards on the market at this point, and in other videos I have been talking about the Wells Fargo Active Cash card because it's a 2% card that also has a $200 bonus. So if you were getting a 2% card now, that would be the one that I would probably recommend to most people. But I've had this card for a long time. Does everything that I want it to, gives me the 2%, and so it is still the foundational bedrock card as far as I'm concerned. I do have some other cards that sometimes are in my wallet and sometimes are not in my wallet, and that I'm still on the bubble with some of these, the first one being the American Express Platinum card. So I got this card because it had a huge bonus, and also because I run a YouTube channel where I felt like it would be nice to be an American Express Platinum card holder, just so I kind of always know what's going on with the card. So to me, it's a little bit of a business expense to pay as much as this card is worth. I would not hold it otherwise, because it has, what are we at now? $550 annual fee, and then it's going up to $695 in the future. So I'll continue to hold this as a service to you, but I don't think that I would hold this card otherwise. And then I'd probably say the same about the Chase Sapphire Preferred, a card that I'm paying a $95 annual fee for. I never have actually used it to get the extra 25% through the Chase travel portal, and I have not used it to actually transfer to any of their travel transfer partners yet. So I've had this card, again, a card that I got a huge bonus from, and there still is a huge bonus, so you might want to consider it whether you use the card again or not. But I am going to hold on to this card because eventually I hope I will use it in one of those ways for a redemption. And again, because it's Chase and they are one of the major two, I also sort of keep it so I know what's going on with it, and I have the ability to do those things with the whole Chase trifecta. So eventually, hopefully, that will happen and I won't keep paying $95 just to hold the card. Now this baby's going away, the Amex Green. There's no reason for me to hold this card. I got this card when it first came out, partially get the signed up bonus, partially because I wanted to make a video about it, because it had been such a long time since the Amex Green had changed, but there's no reason for me really to carry this card. $150 annual fee. I'm really not getting anything out of this card, especially with the other stuff that I have going on, and I don't love the membership rewards program as much as a lot of other people do, so there's nothing really holding me to this card, and it is going to come up for renewal soon, and I'm not going to pay again. And then this last thing I'll talk about actually is not a credit card, it is the Cash App debit card. And normally I don't ever talk about debit cards, don't hold debit cards other than like from, you know, my main bank. I got this because I wanted to know more about the whole Cash App boost system, where they have these offers where you can have some money in there and you can get a boost on certain things and get, you know, 15% off groceries sometimes, or 10% off, I don't know, whatever. They have all kinds of these different boosts that you can use. So I think I have $100 on it right now. I haven't even used it yet, but I've been sort of looking at it to see, you know, when I might use one of these boosts, if there is a really great offer that comes up, and maybe just kind of get to know over time, like if I use a bunch of boosts, do I continue to get good offers, or do my offers get worse because I've used all the good ones? So I don't know. So I haven't even used it yet, but this is something that I want to investigate more and know more about it and see if maybe it fits in with my overall picture. I prefer credit cards in general, but maybe I would use a debit card if I felt like there were, you know, good offers coming and there's no annual fee on it or anything like that. So we're gonna keep it around for now, and it's, you know, $100 sitting in there. And then I have a few cards that are in the drawer that never come out. The Amex Everyday, the Capital One Quicksilver. I have a couple store cards where I got the card just to get, you know, some sort of special offer up front if I would sign up for it. As you can see, mostly what I am doing right now is a cash back strategy. I follow that because for me, like I said, I have a family that when we travel, it's normally multiple people going, and so using points is not always the easiest thing to do. And since we usually stay in things like an Airbnb or a VRBO or something like that versus a hotel, having those points going in a hotel is not something that's super attractive to me right now. So, you know, getting a lot of points for, you know, some big redemption, I think is different if you're one person or if you are a couple and you can sort of put things together and you can, you know, get those nice trips, and, you know, for good airfare if you want the first class or business class or whatever, or a really cool hotel that you would maybe not normally stay in if you had to pay with cash. But when you have more than two people, the bigger you get in your group, if you want everyone to kind of stay together and have these sort of same experience, it gets harder to use those points, in my opinion. Maybe some people know better than I do, but I do think that in the future I will kind of go and become a little more of a travel person, because that is something that I would like to eventually do. So some people really into the travel, me right now not as much, mostly cash back. But enough about me. I would like to hear what you have in your wallet and why. Put that in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews and we talk personal finance and we talk deals and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thank you for watching. Bye.